Hi, I'm author and speaker Robin Mead. This video is entitled For Such a Time as This. If you like this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on Facebook and Instagram. So this teaching is about the book of Esther, and I was reading through and I thought that this was pretty poignant for what we're going through this week and tied into the post that I had on prayer. So let me just give you a little background here. So the Queen of Persia stood up for herself and she was put aside by the king. And so Esther entered a beauty contest with several hundred other women and was chosen as the next queen. Esther had not told anyone that she was a Jew. And Haman, a dude who serves the king in the palace, hates the Jews, hates them. And he had just convinced the king to proclaim on a certain day that everybody can kill the Jews, everybody can wipe them out. And Mordecai, Esther's uncle, is beside himself with grief over what is going on. He's put on sackcloth and ashes, which is a sign of mourning and deep distress. And Esther hears about Mordecai being in deep distress, and she wants to help. So first, she sends a messenger with some clean clothes for Mordecai to wear to get out of his sackcloth and ashes. He refuses this help. Instead, he shares with the messenger a copy of the edict and sends a message back to Esther asking her to go to the king and plead with him on behalf of the Jews so this killing will not happen. So Esther is not willing to go out and meet Mordecai where he is at in suffering. And she's afraid this is socially inappropriate, and she is comfortable in the palace. So she's afraid. After all, the last queen had her spot taken away, and Esther is now the new queen, so legitimate. Plus, the king hasn't called for her in like 30 days. So if she enters into his presence and he doesn't say, yeah, it's okay to come on, she'll be killed because that's the law. So she provided for Mordecai what she thought would bring him out of his funk. But this isn't a funk. This is serious grieving. The lives of the Jewish people are at stake. Have you ever done that in a situation, provided something that you thought would make the situation better without really communicating with the injured party to find out what would help them? Many of us would rather donate or promise to pray than get ourselves into that level of relationship. That could be messy. We might lose something. This might make us uncomfortable. So we might have to change our comfort level. This is a good word for us to hear at this time in our country. Esther is in a comfortable place. Mordecai addresses this with his response to her. This is the ESV version of Esther chapter 4, verse 13. Then Mordecai told them to reply to Esther, "Do not think to yourself that in the king's palace you will escape any more than all the other Jews. For if you keep silent at this time, relief and deliverance will rise for the Jews from another place. But you and your father's house will perish. And who knows whether you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this?" So Mordecai challenges Esther to think about her blessing. This is a good word for us today in our country as well. Many of us are blessed, but we see our blessings as it's something for our own comfort. And I'm not pointing any fingers here. I fall into it myself. This is another reason we need to take our thoughts captive and be accountable to other believers. God blesses us so we can shine His glory in this dark world. He certainly wants us to enjoy our blessings, but they should not become an idol to us. We must not forget who has blessed us, and we must not forget the work that God is calling us to do for His glory. Act justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with God. That's from Micah 6:8. And if we ever feel like we've done everything we can, that's not true. That's something we all think when we're pressed. But if we refocus our thinking on Jesus on the cross, who really did give everything he had for us, and that sacrifice to realign our thinking with what God may be moving us out of our comfort zone to do. So faced with this truth, Esther responded to Mordecai, "Go, gather all the Jews to be found in Susa, and hold a fast on my behalf, and do not drink or eat for 3 days, day or night. I and my young women will fast as you do, and then I will go to the king, though it is against the law, and if I perish, I perish." So Esther was obedient. She yielded to do what she knew to be right. She surrendered the benefits of her blessing, which made her comfortable, took a risk, and trusted God for the result. And this is in line with James 4:17, which says, "Whoever knows the right thing to do and fails to do it, to him it is sin." And what a result! God showed up for the Jews and saved them through Esther. So when you're praying this week over your next steps of what you can do, ask God how he could use you, and don't be afraid to put everything on the table. God loves that surrender. God loves those prayers, and anything can happen when God shows up. God bless you.